Everybody, the posting assistant is now live. So you have an automated posting system that is going to handle the tasks of a virtual assistant who can go out and make posts on your behalf. The reason this is so critical is you could potentially, even as a one-person agency, sign up hundreds of clients now and easily be able to manage all of it on your own. This is literally like a full-time virtual assistant who figures out what people buy and gives them exactly the content posted to exactly the right social channels that make sense for that particular client. And they got to upgrade if they want this posting assistant to start sending more advanced content on their behalf. I'm going to show you how to set this all up, but most importantly, just take a moment and realize how powerful that is. So this really completes the promise of a fully automated social media marketing agency. So you are now going to be able to start generating passive cash flow if you start the Agency Pro program. If you aren't currently on the Agency Pro program, you can watch this if you want. If you're an agency and you don't have Agency Pro, it's just a matter of time before you do, because it's going to be very difficult to compete against people who do. So you might want to watch this just so you know what your competitors are using to destroy you. Anyway, for the Agency Pro folks, even if you don't plan on using this posting assistant, there are other new upgrades that we've made to the system that will apply to you even if you don't use the posting assistant. This is a really big upgrade, and please stick around till the end, even though it's very long and very detailed, because this touches many different parts of the software, and it even changes each of your clients, like what they can see. We've given them new options to fine-tune how you post on their behalf in case that the defaults you set up aren't exactly what they want. Let's jump in. So from your dashboard, you're going to go to Agency CRM. You're going to notice there's a whole new section called Posting Assistant. So you can read about it here. And when it's time to set up a new automated post set, you're going to switch this on. So there's two different kinds of automated post sets that you can create. You can create automated post sets that already have the content in them that Socialmonials provides. These are what you're used to getting as those CSVs every month. We're going to stop doing that because we've built those into the system. So December will be the last month we actually send those CSVs out. Now what's going to happen is all you need to do is switch this on and determine which one of these types of posts, these are the different categories of posts from the social media growth system. So you can even set certain price points that get part of the social media growth system posts, but not all of them. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And the main thing is there's some requirements for setting up automated post sets. The first one is you have to select at least one pricing plan to assign these to. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. Before we jump in too far, for those people who aren't going to use these automated post sets, I want to show you first what we've made a change to do in your pricing plans. So if you jump into one of these pricing plans, you'll see there's a whole new option down here called Thank You Screen. So what this is as you know, like when somebody buys one of your pricing plans, it asks them to pay, it asks them to set up an account, agree to your terms, connect their social accounts. So after that, there's a new step that you can add in, and this entirely new screen will basically display a message that sets expectations before they click the button to proceed into their dashboard. So we already provide default information, and I'm going to read this to you because this really sets the stage for allowing these automated post sets to act as if it is a real person posting on behalf of your client. So the screen will say, and you can modify this however you want, we will start preparing your social posts right away. In a few days, we will load them into the scheduler and start posting. Please let us know before then if there are any social accounts that you still need to add, or pages or groups that you do not want us to post to. We just sent you an email, so please reply to that with any questions or updates. And by the way, it's our system that sends that email, and you can change that within your notifications section in the Agency Pro system. Carrying on, click the button below to check out your reporting dashboard. You can access that anytime, day or night. So this is kind of setting that stage where after 3 days, it's telling them we're going to start posting. Now I'm going to jump in and show you how the automated post sets work, and that'll make a lot more sense to you. Okay, so we're going to do this by starting with US holidays. Let's set this up. It's not going to allow you to turn this on until you assign at least one of your pricing plans to it. And what we're going to do for the purposes of this demo, I've got a junior, a social, and a senior plan. So like as you pay more, you get the senior. What I'm going to do is set this up so if you get the junior plan, the only thing you get is US holidays. That's it. So let's set this one up first. What I'm going to do first here is assign all 3 pricing plans to it, because at any price point you get this. Notice above we've already pre-populated the name and description. The reason you want to look this over is this will actually appear to your clients, because remember, we've given them a whole new screen where they can dial in all of these automated posts that you're making for them. And I'll show you that in a little while, but for now, just know that this description and name will appear to your clients, so make sure it's what you want to say. Over here, these are the defaults that will show up for each of your clients in their workspaces. I would leave these alone because these are our typical defaults. They can always go in and change them at the workspace level. This is just a default. The social networks you see here are the social networks that will be included when we start loading up their queue with these posts. So the only reason you might want to change this is, let's say you've got a whole team of content creators and they're creating, very manicured posts for Instagram only. Then what you could do is just deselect these other social networks, and only select Instagram. And you would then have to create an automated posting set for Instagram, and then another one, for the other social network that you wanted to really curate an exact, set of images and text for those. But most of you are just going to leave everything checked. So what I want to impart on you right now is that it's not just going to blast everything that they have. The way our system works is all of their default social profiles will be included. And this is important enough where I want to jump over here and show you what I'm talking about. So let's sign up. I'm going to go into one of our test accounts. So what I mean by that is, let's say this is a brand new workspace. The client signed up and they set these up as the defaults. So because Testymantailer is not set to be on by default, it is not going to send automated posts ever to this particular profile. But it will send to RecTestAngel, because this is set on by default. So if we want the Testymantailer account to also receive these automated posts, they would have to be set on by default. And just to let you all know, when we went live with this, we made it so every new account that is added to Socialmonials, or if you're white label, whatever the name of your software is, every new account that is added, it is automatically going to be on by default. So they would actually have to go into their account and switch it off to have it not be included. Which is why we tell them, we sent you an email. If you do not want us to include a specific group or a page, Facebook page, something like that, you've got to email us back and let us know. If they email you and say, you know what, I definitely don't want to send it to Testymantailer, what you're going to do is switch that off by default. And now it will not send send the automated post to that particular social profile. So that's how this works. I'm going to jump back in and continue. Believe it or not, this gets even more complicated. Okay, so the watermarks is really important because we don't want to just start stamping things in an automated way until people are ready. Like, you need to make sure you at least load their logo in. So basically, we do not watermark by default. Even if the CSV that you upload and all of the social media growth system posts include watermark instructions, just like they did before. But note that the default setting is checked here, which means no watermarks if the client has them off by default. So what that means is I'm going to jump back over here. I'm going to go to Workspace Preferences and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if you go down here to Company Settings, the default is going to be off, okay? So when somebody signs up a brand new account, this will be off. And when that's off, it means that we will never automatically add watermarks in automated posts. It just won't happen. So you would literally have to go into the workspace, and I recommend you only do this for the higher pricing plans. Don't just give them watermarking, because this is a manual step you're going to have to do. You have to ask for their logo if they want watermarks, and then upload that logo, or you can grab it off their website, I guess, and then upload that logo to the watermark feature and set up at least one default watermark. Then it will be able to add watermarks. After you upload that logo, and you could do this during the 3-day waiting period, then what you can do is select on by default. That tells the automated posting system that, okay, we're going to go ahead and add watermarks to every single image where it's specified in the CSV. So that's on, and I wanted to show you that because that's another special step you need to take if you want to include watermarks in your pricing plan. So basically, leave this checked. There's really no reason to uncheck this. If you uncheck this, it's just going to blast watermarks on everything that goes out to the client. If they've never uploaded a logo, it's not going to add a watermark. But why take a chance? What if they're playing around and they add a watermark just to kind of test it, and now all of a sudden that test watermark starts appearing on all of their social posts? That's why, in my opinion, you should be safe and leave this checked and don't automate those watermarks unless somebody goes in and switches on by default in their workspace preferences. Moving on, read these instructions. It goes through a lot of this information, and when you're done, just click Save. So now that I've added the pricing plans, I can switch this on. Now let's set up the engagement posts. This will be a lot quicker. So what I'm doing here is I'm only going to check these two, because if you sign up for the Junior Social Media Manager plan, you do not get access to the engagement posts. Now I can switch this on. Repeat the process for inspirational. This is perfect. I only want these two, but if you have Junior, then I do not want you to get these posts. So now I can turn this on. Now I'm going to go assign the weekend. Okay, leave these two on, leave this one off. All good. Okay, so now that we've got all of our social media growth system posts configured, I'm going to show you something very exciting. So let's say you want to focus on realtors, and you've created your own special content that you want your Senior Social Media Manager plan people to get. Only the Senior Social Media Manager plan gets this at the $399 price point. What I can do is click Add Automated Post Set and come up with a name for this. I'm going to call these Realty Posts. And the description is going to be specially, remember this goes, the client's going to see this. So I'm going to name it something semi-clever here. Specially curated posts to impress your new and potential clients. And I'm going to select my pricing plans. So what I want to do on this one, it's a little bit different than the others, because I want to make sure that only people who buy my top plan, the senior plan, get this. So I've done that. The next step is to choose a date range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the 25th as my start date. And for the end date, I am going to choose the 30th. So as you can see now, I've got start date and end date. You can even change, like right now it says 11:36 a.m. You know, let's change this to p.m. And let's do like 11:58 p.m. That's what I like to do as the end date, just to make sure I don't have a post that kind of slips in between the cracks. Okay, so now what I have is for the rest of November, I'm going to be sending out this particular set of posts. So I'm going to upload a CSV and choose Realtor Posts November. So this is a CSV that I created that only has post dates scheduled through the end of November. Note that if I had any posts in here that were scheduled for yesterday or even today, it's not going to work. It's going to give me an error log and tell me specifically the rows that I need to fix. You can only put future scheduled posts into your CSV. And as before, you can always leave the date and time blank. If you do that, it's just going to add it to their queue and use the queue schedule. So now I've got my November post set up. If I left it at this, it's basically going to work as follows. If anybody buys a new package for the rest of November, it's going to wait 3 days and then start sending those November posts. However, all of the people that are currently in the Senior Social Media Manager pricing plan, if they're already in there, as soon as I go live with this automated post set, it's actually going to start posting now. So it's going to fill up their queue with these November posts. So what I encourage you to do, let's say you already have some accounts, wait until December 1st if you have December posts ready to go and you've already loaded up your November posts using like the manual old CSV upload process. That way you're not going to get those duplicate posts. So I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to do this for the rest of the year. So I'm going to add another month's worth. And I highly recommend you do 1 month at a time. And the reason for that is you're charging people 1 month at a time. So if you make it so it uploads a whole year's worth in one go, where you make the date range, let's say like January 1st all the way to December 31st, what it's going to do then, you're going to have to, first of all, upload a CSV that includes posts for the entire year as well. First of all, that's going to be a really big, difficult to manage queue because it's just going to be full and you're not going to be able to make changes except for manually. It's better to do a month at a time because if they stop paying you after a month, well, guess what? They still have a whole year's worth of content. So if they downgrade, for example, and they no longer qualify, like for these realty posts, well, you've just shot yourself in the foot because you loaded a whole year's worth. So do it 1 month at a time so it corresponds with whatever the frequency is that you're charging people. So anyway, I'm going to go in and I'm going to set the start date for the 1st of December. And so I'd probably want to do, first thing in the morning. So I guess we would do like 12:01 a.m. So first thing, December 1st. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, let's see, December 1st, and let's go to the end date, and I'm going to choose the end of December. So let's do December 31st for this one. Oops. Hold on a sec. So November 30th for this. Move on to the end date and go 31st for this one. And I would want to do like 11:58. Go towards the end of the day. Okay, so now we have this one. Oh, I chose 11:31. You'd probably want to choose 12:01. But anyway, now you can kind of get the idea here. So we've got a date range here for December. Let's upload the CSV. So now we have December uploaded. So these are only December posts. So you can add up to 24 different date ranges. So you can schedule basically the next 2 years and then you're done. I'm gonna, there's 2 choices. You can create but don't activate yet. You can create and activate. So what I'm going to do is create but don't activate yet because I don't want this to start going out. So now when you're ready, you can switch this on and now only people that buy your top pricing plan will get these realty posts. So you can keep on adding additional post sets. So different ideas for post sets, let's say you have 5 different industries that you're posting to. You've got not only realty, but you've also got like, let's say hospitality. So now what you could do is have your content folks create a year's worth of content and your only job will be take those CSVs, chop it into monthly pieces, and upload it and assign those 1 month ranges and just set the posts up. And when you turn that on, you can assign it to only the hospitality pricing plans and really tailor exactly who gets what. So that is how you set up automated post sets. I want to continue on to what the client is going to experience. So right now I'm going to switch over to the client screen so you can see exactly how they can modify the way these automated posts are being sent. Okay, so now I just created a whole new workspace with a senior marketing manager pricing plan. So the way it works is, here's a brand new workspace. What I'm going to do now is show you the way that you can tweak the way these things import for them. So I'm going to go to the import tab, and you'll notice there's a whole new tab that they have called From Agency. So when you click this, it's going to allow them to manage what we post to your social media accounts. Okay, they have no idea that all of this is automated. In their mind, this is the dashboard that they use to work with your agency. So you're basically giving them ways of changing the preferences of how these things get imported. And note that, you know, some of your clients might not even have access to the publisher basing on how you set up your pricing plans. But even if they don't, you can always jump in and make changes. So this is also where you are going to go in at the workspace level and change the default. So if they call you up and say, you know what, I don't like the inspirational quotes because we do our own, or whatever it is, at the workspace level now, you can switch those off. And it's going to warn them, you know, we're not going to post this type of content if you continue. And when they confirm, that's it. Also notice, it's pretty cool. It tells you when the next batch of posts that you guys are going to be sending for them. You know, it's telling them that the next batch of these is going to be going out at 11:59 a.m. On 11/30/2022. So it lets your clients know when you're planning on posting more content in this particular category. So US holidays, I actually have been posting those just for the whole year right up front because everybody gets those. So you'll notice it doesn't say anything about a next batch being scheduled. And these have been turned off so it doesn't tell them when they're going to be scheduled because they never will be. Now notice this realty post. This is that custom set of posts that you created. Remember, you gave it the name Realty Posts and you created a description. Well, when they hover over the information icon, it tells them the description that you wrote. So specially curated posts to impress your new and potential clients. So that's where that description is going to show up. So what they can do here is not only see when the next scheduled batch is, they can also click edit and actually make certain changes to this. So this is kind of a bad example because we don't actually have any social profiles added yet. But what I can do, let me go in and real quick add a social profile. So let's add just a really simple test and choose an image here and add a social profile. Okay, notice how it now adds this on by default. That's a new thing that we are doing, as I mentioned before. So what we can do is now go to import and go from agency. And as you can see, when you edit now, it's going to show this exact profile. It's no longer generic. Now it's going to give you exact suites of profiles here. So what you can do is, even if they have a social profile on by default, maybe they still don't want that particular social profile to receive these automated posts. So you'll even be able to fine tune that. If they send you that email saying, you know what, I don't want Kelly's to go out, like I only want it to go out to Tom's. So even though, you know, they like to leave Kelly's on by default because they're constantly sending stuff to Kelly's, they just don't want anything from the agency to go to Kelly's account. So this is where you would fine tune which profiles that we're going to post on your behalf too. Now the categories also, you can change. As you know, you can just specify the category within the CSV, But let's say they have a special category that this particular workspace has created that they like to use instead. You know, if they want to call this like industry news for the realty posts, then they can always go in and assign it to that special category. This is the watermarking. Watermarking is switched off by default, like we did in our setup of the realty post pricing. Automated post set. But they can actually go in here and override you and say, you know what, we actually do want watermarks to be applied in all cases, even though we do not have it on by default in workspace preferences. So you just have a lot of opportunities here to really override like the generic settings. So if you get to 100 different clients, you're always going to have that one or two clients that are going to be like, I want to zag while everybody else is zigging. I want to do it this way. Now you have the ability to jump into their specific workspace and make these types of changes. Like if they want it held for approval, the automated post, they can quickly and easily go in and make that change by themselves and then make that save change. Oh, we need to include at least one profile. So I'm going to save this. So now it's changed for this one $2 plan test workspace, this client, and this is not going to affect any of your other clients. That is it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this demo, and I can't wait to see you guys automate your entire agency and start bringing in some passive cash flows. Thank you.